Welcome back to Radio Dolby 89.6 FM. It's winter here in Dolby City. It's cold and I'm lonely. I've got an update here of my brother Dolby. Hang on. He sent me another letter. He says, "Hi, brother Dolby. Don't worry about me. My balloon is crashed and I'm happily ensconced with a Zamburu tribe and I'm about to get married. Love, brother Dolby." Anyway, what more can I say really? I wish him the best. But I miss him, and I just want him to come back home, back on the show. Coming up on the show in a second, I'm going to play you a little recording I did a week or two ago when I went to visit the fabulous, the most beautiful human being I've met in a long time, Mr. Ed Gains, and I went to the Mancave and we talked about music for hours. That's coming up very shortly. And then a little bit later on the show, the usual, we've got some beautiful poetry by Quid Baker and Wayne Hill. We'll see you after the advert break. If you think too much about the future, the future ceases to be the future anymore. The future becomes right now because your mind, your body, your soul, your consciousness is living in the future now. Don't worry about the future. Live for now. Drink Dolby draft beer.
Explore the unexplored, dream the undreamt, and listen to the unlistenable. Here on Radio Dolby, reject the mainstream, the lame stream, and the main street. Instead, choose back beats, back seats, and side streets. Here on Radio Dolby 89.6 FM.
Alright, so I'm off to meet the legend himself here in Dolby City, Mr. Ed Gains. To get there I've got to drive, unfortunately, and I've got to go over the bridge to the other side of Dolby City. I'm looking forward to catching up with him and getting in and having a chat in the man cave and talking about music. I think as I drive I might play, I've had one of his songs stuck in my head for the last couple of months. I want to live like a golden retriever. I'll find it and I'll pop it on now. Hang on.
It's
think it's I think Mr. Gains is down here somewhere. Gonna take a drive. It's a long driveway. Let's find a way here. Ah, there he is. Here we go. Alright, just want to park the car. Grab my things. Alright, grab the gear. And get out of the car. Alright, that was a nice drive for Dolby City anyway.
Hey man,
Hey, how are you?
how's it going?
Good. Which way do I come up?
Just come here, man.
Ah, awesome.
In country music is kind of like finding someone who likes country music is quite a rare.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes, eh?
Yeah,
You know?
it is. But once you get into some good country music, it's
That's kind of what I got raised on, you know, it's all that stuff, and that's what my mum and dad used to take me to, the Brendan Dugan and Jodie Vaughan and stuff, you know.
Amazing.
And then got Brendan Dugan in on our show on Paradise once,
Yeah.
for an interview. My friend, like in Auckland, used to work at 60 Minutes, and I was like, I kind of knew that he lived here, but I was like, fuck, I don't know how to find him, you know. The next thing she comes back at me with a fucking phone number. I was like, this is his phone number.
Yeah.
It's like investigative journalism 101, you know. Find out where he lives and get his phone number.
Here's a bit of a classic, eh?
He came in, man, and he was kind of a little bit standoffish because he didn't really know what it was. And then we talked to him for about an hour and a half, eh? And he was great, like talking about playing at the Grand Ole Opry and shit like that.
Yeah.
I did quite a bit of research before he showed up,
Yeah.
you know. Like his Wikipedia, his audio, what is it? What's that fucking great website? Audio Culture?
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. His one's great. His fucking, so I just basically pilfered that, you know.
Who's that other, that same sort of era? Is it Suzanne Prentice?
Suzanne Prentice, Gray Bartlett, Jodie Vaughan, all the, you know, That's Country TV show that used to be on, you know.
Yes, I remember that.
I used to love that, and then going to the Bowl of Brooklands and watching that show live. That was like one of my, you know, foremost musical experiences. I think, eh? Seeing Gray Bartlett play the theme from The Deer Hunter, and I was like, whoa. This is fucking next level shit. You know?
That show must have gone for quite a while, eh?
Oh yeah, man, yeah, totally, eh? Old Ray Columbus was the host of that.
That's
I think,
right.
eh? Yeah, man. And it was at your classic, like 7 o'clock on a Saturday night or something, eh?
Yeah, we're all wholesome family.
Yeah, man. Or maybe 7:30, maybe Billy T. James show was on first, and then it would be That's Country.
That's Country. Was it kind of modelled off that Johnny Cash sort of
I think
show
so,
thing, eh?
yeah. You look at that, man, fuck, that show's great, eh?
Oh, amazing.
I saw that, I'd never seen it before, but he interviews the guy who wrote Boy Named Sue. And I can't remember what his name was, but he's a fucking lunatic. And that clip is so fucking good, because he's kind of like, he does a duet with him, but this guy's just fucking screaming.
This is like the man cave, eh? It's pretty impressive, eh? I love it.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah, no, this is like
Great pictures up on the wall.
Like I say, this is kind of like some people's worst nightmare, but this to me is my.
I love this.
It's,
I aspire to this, actually.
yeah, it's just a whole lot of stuff that one day, like I put all there's music magazines up there from the 90s, you know, like reviews of like Nirvana's first concerts and stuff, and
The days when people bought magazines.
yeah, but I reckon if you went to try and grab a magazine, they're all stuck together.
It's probably a bit damp.
It's so damp, there's cobwebs.
Yeah, I know.
There's everything down here, man. It's got everything.
Look at a nice man cave smell, eh?
But yeah, it's got lots of bits of me in here, you know.
Yeah, you need it. I think every man needs his little space, little mess.
Yeah, this is I probably don't spend as much time down here as I should. I think because there's so much TV that you need to watch, you know. I end up watching way too much TV, man, and I'm like, I could be down being creative in my man cave, but instead I'm like going to watch this 4-part British drama instead. I'm like, what am I doing, man? I was like, you know, I shouldn't be wasting all this freaking time.
No, there's time and play. Your brain needs to rest too, The creative side, needs to process and freshen up and kind of almost erase all those patterns of other things you've done. You know? Yeah. You know,
and you never know what you're going to get from that 4-part British drama. There might be a line in there that sort of like takes you to a song or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you got to trawl through all that stuff as well. You know?
And ideas come like just kind of randomly. They just pop in your head sometimes, and just out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And if you're thinking about something, trying to get something really interesting, creative to happen, it's just not there.
Nah. I think and it's good to have a place where you can go and like try and, you know, like no one's going to disturb me down here because no one else wants to come down here because it's too mouldy and cold. You know,
it's beautiful. There's so many things I could talk about and ask questions about.
Yeah, there's a lot of Jesus paintings. I got a few Jesus paintings. There's a few of my paintings which are so definitely not Jesus. You know,
which ones are your paintings?
There's that one, the green one up there.
Yeah, awesome.
I'm not really a painter, you know, but I sort of started doing some paintings, and then I realised that was the only one up there where I tried to draw eyeballs.
Yeah.
And I found it so hard to do eyes because I'm really not very good with the brush. Yeah. So
that looks awesome.
So the rest of them have just got black eyes, and quite disturbing. But that's not. I'm not doing it for effect. I'm doing it because I don't know how to paint eyeballs. Yeah. You know, it's like it's not. I'm not doing it because I've got like some deep darkness in me. You know.
Do you do sort of comic stuff as well, eh?
Yeah, man. Yeah. I've got a comic for you actually.
Oh.
So that's I used to do a comic in Dunedin called Gibberish, and I was like handing it out, and that was just.
Am I allowed to take the plastic?
You can take the plastic off it, man. Yeah.
Oh, well, we want to.
Yeah.
Got to keep it there for 25 years.
Yeah. Don't open it, man. It's not meant to be open.
I will open it, and I will do lots of things with it, eh?
Yeah. So I did about 4 issues of that, and was just sort of like handing it out and putting it in a couple of the record stores just for free on the ground, you know, using all my boss's A3 photocopy paper.
Yeah.
And then that was kind of, I wasn't doing a lot of, I was kind of pottering with music, I guess, you know, but I was sort of doing more drawing at that stage, and then when I sort of got more into playing music and stuff, I sort of realised how hard it is to actually flesh out a drawing, you know, just how long it took, you know. It's like, you can write a song in like 10 minutes, you know, but a drawing might take you like a week. Yeah. You know, dicking around, and I got to this point where I was like doing this sort of dotty sort of style, you know, and yeah, man, that's like enough to drive you insane. You know?
I totally get it.
So I kind of like, I sort of I sort of kept drawing over the years, but definitely, I got more into just playing music, you know.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think I've done quite a few interviews now on the show, and pretty much everyone I think I've interviewed, there's probably maybe a couple of exceptions, but then, you know, it's predominantly people who the music's more toward the kind of the art end of the music spectrum most of the time, but almost everyone doesn't just do music.
Yeah.
Like, you know, there's some people making films. They're doing art. Yeah. You know, they're doing video and sculptures and writing.
Totally.
They're just all over the show. Just really uber creative people. Yeah,
and I think like that's become easier as well. Like as time's gone by, like you sort of, you know, for me the progression was like, where I worked in this. I was working in like an advertising agency in Dunedin when I was like 16, you know. So there's lots of pens there to steal or to borrow, you know. And so I was like, so that's how I got into drawing. And then when you get a guitar, you know, you can start writing songs and stuff. But then as time's gone on, you get a computer with like GarageBand or something on it, and then you can start doing movies and music videos and whatever. You know, it's like it's so cool now that you're able to do that. You know, and then post them like instantly online.
Yeah,
you know,
and people listen to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like your early recordings were all like 4-track, hey?
Yeah, I did them. I've still got the 4-track there,
what's
eh?
the 4-track have you got?
It's like a test cam.
Oh, that's even more ancient than the one I used to have.
Yeah,
That's
it's a bit
beautiful.
dusty, but I've sort of managed to hold on to it.
Wow, that's a classic. How many tracks are on there? Is it? At least 4.
It's 4, yeah. Yeah, so I just used to have everything up way too loud and distorted, and because I think I'm surprised my hearing has lasted, you know.
Yeah.
Because I've always just recorded really, really fucking loud.
But you're always told to do that, because you want everything to compete and everything has to be
yeah,
up.
like everything. I'm like, it's almost like when you're recording of something. It's like when, you know, one of my favorite experiences of music is like at a live gig. You know, it's kind of like, you don't want it to be like ear bleedingly like Dinosaur Jr. loud all the time, but it's like it needs to be of a certain level that's like, you know, kind of blowing you away a little bit. You know,
It needs to block everything else out, eh?
totally. So when you're recording it, it's almost like you're trying to, and because I don't like fully craft my music. I don't think like it's all about ramshackle. You know, I'm sort of almost going for that live. You know,
absolutely.
Recorded live kind of thing, you know. I wouldn't like sit there and spend 2 days on a guitar solo. It's like, you know, it's like that's not who I am really, eh? It was always my ambition to be like the guy, like, you know, because I had the Billy Joel obsession when I was younger. That was like my first ever live concert was Billy Joel at Athletic Park in Christchurch, you know. And my ambition was to be like, you know, in the bar with the, you know, the jar, like the Piano Man.
Yes.
I envisioned myself as that, you know, and being able to play all these amazing songs on
piano. People just
piano.
yell a song at you.
And I was like, oh my god, that's one ambition that I may never see come true, you know.
So you studied music in Auckland, eh? Is that when you started doing music?
I've never studied it, no.
Oh, sorry, you started?
I started, on Dunedin.
Dunedin.
So Dunedin, like me and my best mate Glenn Ross, had our first band, Fish Eye Soup. But that broke up when the you know, it's like the Bryan Adams song, you know. The drummer got married and told us that he was leaving, and then the guy that was the singer, he was like trash. He worked on the you know, driving around picking up
Yeah.
rubbish.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And he was quite inspirational, you know, he was the real leader of the band, you know. And so me and Glenn were like left, oh no, we've lost the drummer and the lead singer, what are we going to do, you know? So we sort of kept going, and that's when sort of the Ed Gains experience was born, you know. And so me and Glenn did that, and our first gig was at the Empire.
Classic.
And we were such dickheads, eh? We sort of just got up there and played so loud. We had no songs at that stage either, so it was just noise, you know. And you know, our influences were like the Dead Sea and stuff like that, you know. Someone described us as an energetic Dead Sea. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Great, you know. But yeah, that night we just left our gear like lying on the stage and just left after we had finished playing, like total dickheads, you know.
Expect someone to pick it up for you.
Yeah, so Jetty, the band that were playing after us, had to pick up all our stuff and like left it there nice and tidy for us probably to come and pick up the next day, you know. We ended up playing with them again. I can't remember what year that was, but they gave us another gig. So since then, me and Glenn have become the Vampires. That's our kind of like noise band that we do every, like, it's probably 3 to 5 years in between gigs, you know.
Still an energetic Dead Sea.
It's just an energetic Dead Sea, really. Like, so it's, you know, but yeah. So I started playing in Dunedin, and then moved to England, and then that's where I sort of recorded maybe 3 or 4 albums, you know, just on 4-track. I was too scared to.
Not this 4-track here.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, so I was too scared to like go out and play. I did play a couple of open mics and stuff, but I still like, you know, I almost think it was my Sid Barrett. I like to think of it as my Sid Barrett phase, you know. Yeah. I was like, I had one particular gig which was completely Sid Barrett, like, where I'd probably taken something that I shouldn't, and then one of my mates said, oh, you should get up and play a couple of songs. It was at like you know, there was a couple of people playing covers at this bar and like Clapham or something, you know. Yeah. And I got up there and I just started babbling. I was like talking, and then I tried to play something, and I was like, man, that was like my real Sid Barrett moment, you know. So luckily it didn't put me off playing music or whatever, you know. So I kept going, but yeah, it was kind of probably. Then I moved back to Dunedin, and then had about 9 months in Dunedin. And then I wrote some Coke commercials. Wow. For this, I was just sitting around in Dunedin, like no job or anything like that. And then I saw an ad in the Otago Daily Times. They were looking for Coke commercials. And I was like, oh yeah, you know. Okay. So I whacked a few together on my 4-track and sent them off on tape. Yeah. You know. And
what year was this?
This was like maybe like 2000, I think. Oh yeah, you know?
Yeah. That would surprise them in the year 2000.
Yeah.
Where's the shiny CD?
Yeah, well, so anyway, they got picked up, and I got flown to like Auckland, and the jingles that I'd written got mastered off at York Street Studios. Yeah. I was like, oh my god, this is my music career's really taking off. Yeah. You know?
I'm waiting for that, and
then of course it didn't, you know. Yeah. But that sort of made me move to Auckland.
No parties, and you know, out in the viaduct, out in the harbour on the yacht.
There was no yacht parties. No. I remember we went to a vegetarian restaurant. Coca-Cola, high roller, reach over into the cooler, plastic bottle. Sunshine onto me like a dream. I'm thirsty again, my red and white friend, always there in every store. I'm such a boy, you know I'm going for Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola. but then it sort of but then I moved to Auckland, but that was that was great because there was a lot of cool bands playing at that stage, and then I was playing with Stephen Neville. I was lucky enough to capture him for a couple of gigs, he's probably like one of the most incredible musicians you've ever met,
absolutely.
And so to have him I'd sort of like said, hey man, would you come and play? We'd never used to rehearse or anything, and he'd just come and play drums, man, and just be like next level insane. And I had my good friend Donald Ferns, he was like playing guitar, so it was just the three of us. And I played a few gigs like that. Then Don moved back to Dunedin and started a band called On and On with my best friend Glenn. And they made some great albums, So I lost Don to Glenn, but that's when I met Marcus at a gig that I'd done with Don and Stefan. He came up to me at the end of the gig and said, we'd need to start a band. I've got it on video, the moment where he approached me out of the crowd. And he's like, it was quite intense, because he was quite intense back then, Marcus. And so that's when we started the Demi Halls after that, And we did about, I'd say 12 years. It'd be longer than that actually.
As together
on and off as the Demi Halls. We sort of...
What's the secret to longevity in band?
Well, that was such an on and off thing, we sort of like, in that between time I had, 2 children and so that kind of, luckily I've got an understanding wife, who let me sort of like continue, going out and playing like the really late shows and stuff like that,
and sleeping in the morning.
And no, I'd get up. There would be the understanding. I think you've got to get up. So it's the payback. And
Can't drink too much.
So I did that, and I was very lucky to sort of manage to do that, and keep my sort of hand, because I didn't want to be the drummer from my first band. He like sold his drum kit. And I was like, I've just got married, and that's it for me, And I don't know how many people I've bought musical gear off on Marketplace or whatever. And like I bought a prunes and custard the other week, and off somebody, and I said, "Oh, you're not using this anymore?" He goes, "Ah, nah, like I've sort of married now with kids."
So this man cave is like a museum of lost dreams.
Yeah, it is. This is the room of lost dreams.
Failed musicians.
Totally, man. It's like, thank you. Thanks for giving up. So giving me, a chance.
Maybe that's the secret with a band, because I think bands are like can be so intense, and then of course there's a little bit of an ego thing because it's a creative pursuit,
Oh yeah.
And if you can get that low intensity, and have little breaks and just be chill about it. It's just music.
We got one album done as the Demi Halls, and Nikki always used to say Marcus was like my other wife,
Yes.
And because we were he's like one of my longest relationships, It was we were so tight, and we had Anthony playing drums, but Anthony went to Australia. And then we had a couple of other awesome drummers, and then we got offered like to play with Interpol.
Wow.
And so Marcus was like, we should get Anthony back, and so we ended up getting him back and did those shows, and then he stayed.
So rewind, you played support for Interpol?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that was
pretty. Was that in Auckland?
That was in Auckland and in Wellington, yeah.
Wow.
So that was pretty cool, man. And
what album were they just done in?
That was the second album. It was like Antics or whatever,
Yep.
And so that was our kind of big moment, really,
Yeah.
And I fully remember. I remember 2 parts of that. I sort of like the first show was at St. James, and it was just I don't really remember a lot about it. It just went past in such a whirl,
Yeah.
But I do remember going to Wellington the next day, and Nigel from Head Like a Hole, our friend was meant to like drive us around to pick up all this gear that we needed to borrow for the show, but he was working, so it was like a Wednesday or a Thursday or something. So he said, I've got someone else who's going to do it, you know, I've got a friend of mine who's going to do it. And so Nigel from Head Like a Hole shows up. I've never met him before, you know, and he's got a van, and so he just drove us around. It was like, it was so rock and roll, man, because he's such a good dude, you know. And drove us to the show. We unloaded. Interpol were they didn't want us playing through the same PA as them. They didn't think the PA was good, so they said, oh, you know, you can play through that PA, and they went and got a whole different PA for themselves.
Well, they worried you might break their PA?
I don't know what was going on there, man, but it was pretty...
You could say we're going to warm up the PA.
Yeah. They didn't... We got kicked out of their... We were sitting right at the back by the table of sandwiches, and we got kicked out of their sound check, you know. So I was like, oh, we were kind of feeling a little bit stink, you know. And we had this French sound guy who's like... he was like, I hate these guys. And so he ended up, but then, I remember just before going on stage that night, and I was like, oh man, this is like, you know, all my dreams coming true here, you know, playing with my friends, going on in front of a crowd. And so I definitely remember that night walking on stage and playing that show. It was awesome. But then I also remember flying back to Auckland the next day, and we sort of had to cram all our gear into this tiny, it was like a Honda City or something, you know, to sort of drive back to our normal lives. Whereas Interpol went on to their next music festival or whatever, you know. So that was kind of like the reality of, you know, being a New Zealand musician, just like, but it was great, you know. It's like, it's kind of those moments, they stick with you, you know.
Your love is all I feel. Before you was just a dream. Eyes closed in the darkness, only open when you were born. You're all I need to make me smile, to let me breathe. A sunny day, a winter's kiss, it's always warm, my little kid. I'd run through the fire for you, I'd break my bones in two. I'd suffer if it meant you didn't have to. I'd kill anyone that hurt you. Getting older, feeling tired, but never feeling more alive. We get ice cream, it's all a dream. The simple things, the world it spins so fast. I take a picture, I write it down. What you say, you too are my treasure. Every day, a new adventure. I'd run through the fire for you, I'd break my bones in two. that hurt you.
You done solo stuff before that, eh?
Yeah, I've done solo stuff, you know. But
So you got that album anthology?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
all your-
yeah.
That all solo 4 tracks.
Yeah. So that's all. Yeah. So everything's probably up to that Demogor's point as by myself, you know.
I love that song, Smoke.
Oh yeah.
It's a beautiful song, eh?
Yeah. I remember like all about that, who that was about. And
I
what
think
that was
we talked about that. Eh? Yeah.
You know. So it is. It's kind of like when I spent 4 years overseas, I took I took 2 rolls of film when I left New Zealand, and I've got 2 rolls of film of like me and my mate I was traveling with in America, sort of like photos in LA, some photos of the Grand Canyon, and a few other random photos. And then I didn't take any more photos for the rest of the 4 years until the last night in London, in this pub in Camden, and I took like two rolls of film there. So all these blurry, drunken shots are, you know. So in between, there's just that I've got nothing. Apart from all the recordings that I did, you know. So those recordings are kind of like they're like my memories or my photographs or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about before, you can hear like, you know, the number 29 bus going to Camden, pulling up and outside the window, and I was like, I think that's on like Shit Magnet or something.
Yeah.
You know.
It's fun though when you listen to an older song you've recorded, particularly with doing the lo-fi sort of thing, just with 4-track in a room somewhere, it kind of like takes you back to that time.
Oh, definitely, man. Yeah. And I was like floor sanding back then as well. I was like working on building sites, and I think around that time I recorded that song Smoke. I was sort of like coming home, and I'd come home and I'd almost go right to the 4-track, you know. And so some of that I was like sitting in these overalls, like sort of covered in dust, you know, like recording these songs, you know, before I had a shower and went to the pub or whatever.
Making sure none of that dust gets onto the heads of the
Yeah. Totally, man. Yeah. Well, I did one album, and like that album is kind of like something's wrong with the tape. So it's sort of when I did master it off or whatever you call it, you know, the tape is kind of but it kind of adds to that album was Razorblade music, and I look back on some of those albums, I'm like, oh my god, did I really write that? It's like so emo, you know. But I think with that one especially, like it was so emo, but the added bit of the tape sounding like it was nearly going to break, kind of added to it really captured my mental state at the time, you know. Yeah. So it's kind of like and you sort of you hope you don't lose some of that when you move onto a computer, you know.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the biggest compliments anyone's paid me once, was saying, "Oh, did you record that on a computer?" It's like, it sounds like it was just so distorted and like and full of hiss that I because it was when I did my first one on a computer. It just sounded like you know, still very lo-fi. Still haven't like really worked out how to do it properly, I think, you know.
Do you really want to though?
Yeah, I know. It's like like I say, everything's recorded at immense volume, so it's going to be you're going to have some issues.
Yeah, always, eh?
Yeah.
Miss the way you painted my nails black. I miss the way you wind my coattails flat. I miss the way you smoke your cigarettes like you don't care. But I hated the way you drank your beer and said, "You're out of here." I like the way you use the phone to call me out. I liked how I didn't have to try to be cool with you. I love the sweet words you wrote in the letters that I still keep. I hated the way you said goodbye and left me for dead. Once on fire, but now drifting out the window. Do you remember? Do you remember what you wrote? It was more relevant than anything you spoke.
I feel like I've sort of getting to that age. I'm like, like I could like have a fucking heart attack or something. Like I'm screaming, like because I still have songs where I'm screaming, and sometimes when you're in it, you're not thinking, oh, maybe I shouldn't scream so hard.
What are the neighbours going to think?
Yeah. And it's like,
How do you record a scream? What do you
well,
do?
I feel like I haven't really recorded a lot of screams down here. It'd be, and that's always the thing. Like, if you thought about what your recording sounded like without the headphones, like what the neighbours are actually hearing, like an electric guitar sort of like tinkering away, or like just someone down here like screaming, Satan or whatever, But you record a scream like you don't stand too close to the mic, or you like put your mouth over the microphone.
Yes.
It's like it's heaps of ways. And to then for me, man, like reverb. Just soak it in reverb, eh? I read a great quote once. I think it was the guy from My Morning Jacket, and he said something about reverb. It's the difference between singing on earth or singing in heaven.
Yes.
And I was like, that's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So yeah, and I think if you're like me and you're a little bit terrified of what your voice sounds like, just adding a bit of reverb or a maximum amount of reverb and then maybe layering that can just sort of like slightly take the edge off how much you think you hate the sound of your voice, you know?
Oh, I've learned that slow of recording, and it's like just doing a verse with a bit of reverb, and there's always like, I always put like probably 3 or 4 vocal layers, but
Yeah.
right back, like
Totally.
pan them to sides, and you get it where it sounds kind of like one A.
Yeah, man, it's real fun to record your voice. It's kind of like it's like it's probably it's not a guitar or something. It's like that is actually you. You know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like it doesn't get more you than your voice. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna make a Bjork album though that's just voice. I don't think I'd do that. You know. But it would be, who knows? Could be interesting.
Be slow.
Yeah, man. I've got a vocal pedal there, which does harmonies.
Oh,
Have you ever had a go on one of those?
No.
They sound insane, dude. It's like a AI version of yourself, man. It's like if you wanted to sound like the Bee Gees.
Yeah. They have a Bee Gees button.
It's kind of like a Bee Gees pedal almost. Yeah. It's like there's Barry. You can be Barry.
Yeah.
There's Maurice and oh my God, help me out here.
I have no idea.
Robin.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Do you use it much?
No. Because it's just a pain in the to take it to a gig, man. I remember playing at the wine. No, I think it was like Rowan from the Wine Cellar, and he posted something on his Facebook once, and it's like things he hates as a as a sound person. You know, maybe number 1 or number 2 was a vocal processing unit. You know.
Yeah.
So because it's like. Yeah, it's
the volumes will probably change, eh?
It's just something that you're as a sound guy you probably can't control, and you've got like volume, so you can just make it sound as terrible as But yeah, it's fun.
Do more toys make it harder, or?
I reckon like when I play now, I've never really got into pedals, but I've sort of like bought heaps of pedals since I got to Tauranga, and but then whenever I've taken 8 pedals to a gig or something, like one of them will fuck out, so I'm like, I play like 4 pedals, that's like a lot for me now. I think the less you take, the less chance you've got of like something bad happening,
So how you do this? What's the name of this electronic thing you're doing in the moment?
Oh, like sort of. I've had my alter ego Samuel Rossi.
Samuel Rossi. So you're going from like playing guitar to what do you play for that?
That's just like literally just all on the computer, man. And like I don't even.
So no man cave needed, eh?
Nah, I can do it on my knee.
Yep.
With a blanket over my knee or something, up in the lounge, And I don't even have like a MIDI keyboard or anything, so it's like just that musical typing that you can do on, which is nuts, and you can just make these really crazy sounds. It's like it's pretty easy, and it's like, and it sounds kind of produced already, as long as you get your levels right, which is kind of really weird to like make something that sounds so produced, and it's like quite easy, Yeah, well, I did because I'm quite obsessed with 9/11. I think like 9/11, like the Twin Towers being hit by those planes was just like I went for a job interview on that day, and I think they just gave me the job because they thought the world was going to end. They're like, "Oh, we'll hire this guy."
Yeah.
It was good timing for me, but but I'll never forget that day, and it's sort of like the visual of that, the planes hitting the buildings was just so striking, and so I've got a friend, Bill, who he had a thing. I met him in the 90s in Dunedin, and he had he's like a very clever guy. He's a very he's a scientist, you know. I would call him a scientist, you know. He probably wouldn't call himself a scientist, but he was also into music, and he played me this explosion one day that he had made on his computer, and I was like, man, that was so intense. And so for one of the second Samuel Rossi album, I did a song called Twin Towers, and it sort of starts with this explosion, you know, of like a plane hitting a building. That was what I was trying to create, and then it kind of just sort of drops out into this like sort of dream sort of scape, like a, you know. But yeah, you can do that on a computer. It's like, it's incredible.
That's easy,
with your with one finger.
Yeah, you become quite a good, like, if you like me, like a one finger kind of keyboard player, eh?
Yeah, totally,
man. You do that 10 times in layers, and you sound like you're really good. Yeah.
So like, you know, so maybe I will get to be at a you know, a smoky cafe one day like Billy Joel, but just playing one fingered piano. You know, tinkering away. You know.
You got quite a few keyboards in here, eh?
Yeah, when I moved here, my wife was horrified about how I just started collecting organs. I'm like, that one there was like $80. Like Tauranga is there's a lot of sort of older people in Tauranga.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's like hundreds of these organs like littering people's houses.
They're quite from, like, you're going to trade me that free piano.
I don't think you can give them away anymore.
No.
So I got that one for $80, and I had to go and hire a van to pick it up. Yeah. And this old guy helped me into the van with it, and I had it standing up, and as soon as I drove away from the Salvation Army, it fell on its face, like went. I wish I had recorded the sound actually. Yeah. And it fell on the ground in the van, and then I sort of was like, I hope I haven't destroyed it before I even got it home. And then I remember reversing it down the driveway, and I just caught a glimpse of my wife like looking, going, what the fuck is he doing? You know. So that was the first one I got, and then I got that one over there for $20.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean.
And they're like, it doesn't go very loud. And I was like, okay, that's cool. And then I got it home, and the volume pedal was right down, you know. And it went fine, but that one exploded actually, so that's just a shelf. I switched it on one day, and like flames came out of the button.
Oh, awesome.
So it's just a shelf.
Do not touch.
Yeah. But yeah, this one here is like, I got that for $60. Yeah. This sounds like Dunedin to me, man. I'll have to plug it in and let you hear it. But
play it now.
It sounds like a it needs a bit of it would be great with a bit of like delay and reverb, you know. But it's very sad and sort of reminds me of like Fort Chalmers or something, you know.
Oh, it's an amazing looking machine. I like the one solitary button there. It says volume control. It's basically an electric accordion, isn't it?
Yeah.
Such an accordion.
With a bit of reverb and stuff on that, and then you've got these A.
Wow.
You know? So it's like, I could play most of my songs on this one row.
In major rows.
Yeah. Or I could just do Daniel Johnson covers.
Yeah.
I sometimes think about that if I had all these people that I know like playing on all of my albums, how much better they would be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
You know?
Yeah, I know. You get someone to do the hard work for you, way.
Pretty much, you know, and I just sit in the corner, you know.
Because it's real hard, like, doing solo music, because you've got to, like, think of everything. you got to imagine the song and all the different parts.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's easy just being random and seeing what happens. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah. I think I'm pretty random, and I just I know that I'm probably not going to get it. Or maybe my brain is just wired to my limitations, So I'm sort of not in. Sometimes I'm hearing a string section,
Yeah.
But it's like I'm not going to be able to play that.
No.
But then, for example, so back to Luke, it's like we did a Eddie and the Dreamers song, which is quite a sad song about a dog passing away, which is like my worst fear. And but it was based on a film called A Dog's Purpose, where the dog passes on, but then gets reincarnated in a different dog. It's like a pretty emotional film, that one for me.
Yeah.
So I wrote the song called Rainbow Bridge, which is when a pet passes over, they cross over the Rainbow Bridge, So I wrote the song, kind of had a Velvet Underground-y kind of vibe to it, and then I said, "Oh, Luke, can you, would you be able to put some strings or something, And then when he played me what he had done, man, it just like, oh man, it just choked me up, dude.
Right,
He just nailed it.
Yeah.
And it was like, it sounds like it's like a Disney movie or something, It's like that super emotional.
Yeah.
It's like just the hairs on my back of my neck just stood up,
awesome.
man. It's incredible,
Awesome.
I would have never been able to do that. So that's why you need good friends,
Yeah.
with multi-talents,
Hey,
that's part of it.
Where should people, if people want to listen to music, where's the best place for them to go?
Probably just on Bandcamp, Yeah, like we're saying, it's just so easy
Ed
to
Gains, Bandcamp.
Yeah. It's just so easy to record something and just whack it up there. I put something up there last night,
There's always new stuff going on.
Not really, nah.
No.
Like I say, I'm watching too much TV, man. I need to,
Fair enough.
Maybe the oncoming winter will, it'll either make me want to come down here into this cold man cave and do something or not, who knows. But yeah, it's great how easy it is to just do it,
Oh, yeah, upload.
Yeah,
Ready to
upload
go.
it, yeah. Oh, did I really put that up last night when I was drunk? Oh, God.
Too late now.
Yeah, too late now. 4 people have heard it.
Yeah. Oh, watch out. Defamation.
Yeah.
I know. It's quite hard to draw an audience to music these days because there is so much out there,
Yeah. But I feel like, for me, like I don't really have an audience, and I feel like that's kind of like, so it's like it just frees you up so much to do whatever. So when I did put something out the other day that was like a sort of electronic kind of thing, like if you're an artist who people are like keeping their eye on, and you just went so far off what people thought you were going to do, and there's just this huge uproar.
Yeah.
It's like, whereas someone who's completely obscure and no one knows who they are, and you've got that freedom to just like do it. It's great,
Yeah.
So expect more disco music.
That was the fabulous Ed Gains. And coming up right now on the show, we're going to play a bit of poetry. We've got the amazing Cryptic Quint, followed by none other than Mr. Wayne Hill. We'll catch you in a minute.
Whether you be cousins in love or childless dinosaurs, the next work of exceptional creativity we have for you exclusively on Radio Dolby is one musician in a category all of his own. Why this guy is not already a household name in hipster garbage land, we shall never know. Brace yourselves and shave your eggs for the one and only Cryptic Quint.
Tammy sat in her rocking chair in the cold light of a Sunday afternoon post-frost sun, next to the little pot belly that let out very little heat. YouTube went on, and she thought, stuff this, I'm off to the vape shop. She got her Nikes, stepped over Harry the black cat, and headed out. Times were tough for single chicks with no job and poor dress sense. Glumly she scuffed along to the riverbank. Wendigo was not an American Gothic town, but a Southern Gothic one, just as the Lonely Planet Destination mag had once mocked. But under that beanie, in the long-awaited evening, when the warmth had finally reached a satisfactory level, and jalapenos on her toasties, Wendigo was as good as anywhere to be happily unhappy. Watching the soft mists like miasma off the water, she noticed the owners of the truck yard had pulled out a little coal range from a hole in the wall of long-abandoned creepy old Star's place. Star was a mean old-fashioned chap who had long failed to prevent his son Corey from hanging himself in the garage. Tammy was a keen UFO photographer, and some nights would drag herself out over the sheep fence and wait as each craft would make its way from Wendigo Hills and slowly over the oblivious working town. Jim McPherson shouted out in his usual blunt big man way, "Hey Tammy, how you been?" Eyes still fixed on the little coal range and lacking manners like anyone who doesn't get out much. "Hey Jim, are you selling the coal range?" In the vague damp sun of Sunday she had forgotten the times she had thought she could see Corey's shadow stare out from the garage window on the nights when videoing UFOs. She wasn't particularly superstitious. Jim said, "Yeah, it's for sale, Tammy, but for you, you can just have it." The following Wednesday, a few strong lads helped it into her morbid little kitchen and said farewell. That night the rats continued to scuttle, and Harry lay on her bed licking his paws, too useless to help out with the rodent problem, when she thought she heard her name. Getting up, she saw the moon was still in crescent stage. In the dark she bumped into a hard, heavy object. "Oh, help," she said. She had forgotten the coal range sitting just off to the side in the kitchen. Then she heard the voice of a young man gurgle. Leaping with her hair in a frizz, she threw herself back to bed, and Harry hissed like the devil. "What the hell do you do in these situations? Surely this isn't what I think it is." "Nah." Then she heard it again, and the superheater cupboard clanked. "What the—" Softly the rats started to scratch and squeak, and the moon in the window closed with dark cloud. And again the gurgling, and it grew louder, louder, into a growl. "Oh my God!" Tammy was in tears. "Who the hell's there?" Suddenly, as she forced her eyes to blink, all the doors of the whole place banged furiously, open and closed. Bang, bang, bang. What few curtains Tammy had blew and flapped as a strong wind howled. Her clothes launched from the closet, and down the hallway. Thud, 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 and there through the doorway, and the last thing she ever saw was a silhouette of a young man turned mad.
It's poetry with Wayne Hill. It's poetry. What more could you want in your life?
This is going to go in my book, one of them. It was the 80s, working at Kew Hospital, jobs done, friends as I knew would be working. Wetsuit ready, boards in passenger seat, buckled in. As not I. Probably I was. That day, I pulled out my wetsuit at 100 kilometres per hour to get ready to hit it. For 4 hours in a summer's setting sun. It was epic.
Do you suffer from pounding headaches like day after day after day, like someone's beating your head with a hammer? Well, Dolby City Herbalists have a solution. Our lotus flower tinctures. They can solve your problem in an instant. They do come with a bit of a warning, you may never want to leave. The power of the lotus. 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 Dolby City Herbalists, come and feel the power of the lotus now.
Twist those dials, twist your mind, and tune in. Batten down the hatches, trim your sails, and point your bow to Radio Dolby.
Yeah, it's Radio Dolby 89.6 FM. I hope you enjoyed the show. Thanks to Mr. Gaines for your fabulous hospitality. Thanks to Wayne. Thanks to Quint. Thanks to Shona for helping on the show. Always appreciated. And on the next show, coming up, we've got the fabulous Dave Edwards, so make sure you have a listen to that one. And I'm going to go out tonight with a song by Ed Gains. A beautiful, beautiful track that I just loved recently. It's called Jolly Roger. Enjoy.